Good afternoon. This is your girl Sean, and I am here with a video. So I am doing a direct upload, like we used to do back in the day. And I normally don't come on camera, but I've got something to say. So, I love a good teachable moment, and everything is a buzz about Chris Rock and Will Smith. And so I believe at this point, after looking at some of the beginnings and some of the first 24 hours and talking with some friends and some colleagues and things, that I have some unpopular opinions and viewpoints. I take it back. I saw through a blip in the newspaper online that he has apologized, rightfully so. So first of all, I'm gonna say that I am a pretty level-headed and logical person, and I'm not a very reactive person. Now, that's not to say that I don't have my limits, but I'm just going to keep that in context. And this is where it comes my unpopular opinion. So, of course, everybody knows that from the Oscars that Will Smith felt that Chris Rock, who was hosting the Oscars, disrespected Jada Pinkett Smith through a comment that he mentioned, and I'll go into that. And he got up from his seat, walked up onto the stage where Chris Rock was, and slapped him. Then he sat down in his seat, and twice he yelled, "Keep my wife's name out of your MFing mouth." Okay, so that whole scene, and then Chris said, Will Smith just smacked the crap out of me. So I have a couple of things to say about that. First of all, where do we do that at? Where do we do that at? And I say that because a lot of people say, oh, he had no, that's what he gets, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, can we talk about the fact that this was a work function? The Oscars for actors is no different than any person in their industry going to some convention at a hotel and being dressed up in the evening at an awards banquet for the end of the year, as you do for any of your annual event. And if somebody was the MC was doing their job and made a comment regarding peers, where do you get up from your seat and smack another peer? Because that's really what happened. Chris Rock is a comedian doing his job, hosting the award show, and he made a comment towards another peer. Jada Pinkett Smith is not Will Smith's wife. She's another peer, part of the Screen Actors Guild, part of the Academy. She's a peer. When I first heard the comment, and he made the comment, he at first did rewind. Traditionally, and I've been watching the Oscars ever since I was a little girl, and traditionally, the hostess of the Oscar award show has been historically a comedian or somewhat of a comedic actor, but mostly comedian. I think Billy Crystal had the longest standing running as the host. And what they do is their full monologue, and they put all of the nominees as part of their monologue for the show. It's a roast. It's a play on the movies. It's a play on the actors. It's a roast of sorts. But all of the nominees are part of the monologue of the comedian, of the host of the show. And throughout the show, that's how it's opened up. Now, when he made the comment about Jada and G.I. Jane, I just thought that he was just making the reference because of the fact that, yes, she does have a shaved head, and he made the comment like Jada's gonna be G.I. Jane 2.0 because Demi Moore first was G.I. Jane, the original G.I. Jane in the movie. And if anybody remembered that movie, when Demi Moore shaved her head, it was a pivotal point of the movie because she was the only female she was a recruit, being a Navy SEAL recruit, and she was the only female in a whole bay of men. And she decided that she was going to shave her head, and that was a pivotal point of the movie. And she was badass. Okay? So I remember that very well because I was active duty military. I was sitting in the military theater. We were watching G.I. Jane, and when she came out, she was looking badass, and we were cheering. Okay, so when I heard the reference, I never thought of it as a derogatory term. It was a movie reference, as if Jada's already auditioning for G.I. Jane 2.0. Now, I understand that you don't get to dictate how someone is going to respond to a joke. Okay? That is true. But I'm not quite understanding where Will's response warranted that action. And I say that because the whole outcry is he was defending her honor. And I just think about how fundamentally something's wrong with defending her honor. I am a married woman, and I'm just thinking about in the climate of today, I am a married woman, and I definitely want my husband to defend my honor. But exactly what does that mean? Okay, because when we're talking about putting your hands on someone, it better mean something serious. Okay, my husband can defend my honor when my body is in jeopardy or my home safety is in jeopardy. That's how he can defend my honor. He does not need to defend my honor because someone said something I don't like. Not with his hands. We can have a tussle back and forth with our words, but for him to get up and physically walk and be the aggressor, I'm not a fan of that. And I say this why? Because I believe that defending my honor comes with a price, and it comes with a cost. And if he's willing to do that cost, and I'm willing to do that cost, it's great. But there has to be a high cost. And because someone made a reference and I didn't like it, it's not warranted hands. It's not like he called her Kojak. It's not as if he made a derogatory reference that she looked like, I don't know, an object. He made a movie reference at a movie award show. Now, there's something that I've said to my kids a lot, and it goes back to this. And I say this because I'm so disappointed how, as a wife, that He has worked so hard and crafted a persona. Okay? Will Smith is not, put some respect on my name kind of guy. He's not a hood dude. Will Smith has crafted a persona for 30 years in the industry as a gentleman, as a clean-cut guy. He doesn't cuss pretty much in his movies. He doesn't cuss on his albums. He's crafted that persona. But yet, he walks up, smacks another colleague, and then gets back in the seat like we getting ready to catch me outside. So this is what I'm not understanding, because you would have expected for someone who's a veteran in the industry, he's not a new guy with new fame and doesn't know how to react and respond. He's 50 years old with a better kind of attitude that you would expect for someone who's a seasoned person. We're not understanding this, okay? And I always tell my children, whenever they would, do things and get themselves in trouble in school, there's always another choice, right? As long as your body and your physical situation isn't in danger, there's always a better choice. Because I know people get upset with words, right? So let's just say, what are the other choices, right? Now, Chris Rock is a comedian. So the joke could have been bad and could have fell flat. And it would have been egg on Chris Rock's face because the joke sucked. And there's nothing worse for a comedian than to have a sucky joke and you now need to kind of get that momentum back up because your joke sucked. Okay? That could have happened. It could have happened where the joke was done. Will saw Jada's reaction, and he could have defended her honor by soothing her. He could have gone to her, kissed her head, and made a reference about his beautiful wife. Right there, right? That's another choice that he could have made. When Chris Rock, because I feel like it's about context. When Chris Rock made the thing about G.I. Jane, Jada being who she is, because she's no wilting violet. She could have, with her beautiful jade gown looking regal, she could have stood up. She could have just did this with her head. She could have, kissed her guns because she's badass looking, got a body that's tight for being 50 years old, and she could have sat down like, yeah, and what? She could have done that. Or they could have blown it off. Because see, everyone's talking about this slap. And I'm thinking that this lapse of judgment, poor judgment, has eclipsed his life's work. Because that's what the Oscar is. You are here at an award ceremony, peers with peers. And, many people have thought that you should have won the Oscars for Muhammad Ali when you played the doctor about the concussions, and now here you are again playing another character. He has a catalog not only of action movies, but he has had a phenomenal catalog of where he's played actual people. Was it Charles? Was it the one? He's played real men, iconic men, transformed his body, transformed his physicality to play these men. And here it is, he's playing a living icon who has produced icons. The father of icons, let's put it that way. Sir Richard, right? King Richard. Serena and Venus's dad. And we should be applauding the fact that he got the Oscar. But instead, we are, in many ways, I hate to say it, condoning his bad behavior. Because if it was any of my sons doing that, I would be like, boy, what are you thinking? You can't be doing that. You can't be getting up at a work function, smacking someone in the face. I'm sorry. Unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Now, would I say anything out public as his wife? No, but I would probably say something, be like, that's not what I was expecting. I don't know. Maybe Jada was expecting that. But if she was, shame on her, because this was his night, not her night. Not her night for him to think that he had to go to that extreme, because to me, that is an extreme reaction to something like a monologue, and he made a movie reference. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't get how he makes a movie reference to this being about disrespecting black women. I don't get it. And I don't get it how that reference is okay for someone to be violated. Chris Rock was violated. I hope comedians, because I haven't been watching anything, I really hope comedians have rallied behind Chris Rock. Now, I saw a clip of Tiffany Haddish, and I wasn't understanding that. She took Will Smith's side. She's a comedian. I'm not quite sure how she's okay with that, but she was like, you know, he was defending his woman, and pretty much, you know, Jada needs to take care of that when she gets home. I still say unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable behavior, because people are dying in the streets over words. Okay? That's what the real world is doing. People are dying in the streets over words. Okay? And I just don't get it. I am not going to cheer that on. I would not want my husband to get up from his seat and be the aggressor because someone said something. Now, I'm not saying my husband shouldn't handle it if he saw I was upset, but definitely not in that manner. Not in that manner. I just don't think it's called for. You do realize that at the fundamentally, that is, you know, workplace violence. It's workplace violence. We tell kids to keep their hands to themselves. We tell our children when they're dealing with their brothers and sisters, keep your hands to yourself. You're not supposed to hit so and so because they said something. Zero tolerance in the schools. But yet this is okay because he said something. Please help me understand. I'm not saying that a woman should be protected, but let's talk about protection. And did this really advocate protection? I don't think anybody should be talked about any old kind of way either. But again, we're at a movie award show with peers and colleagues, and he's talking to another peer making a movie reference. Because that's how I'm seeing it. I'm not seeing no alopecia. I'm not seeing none of that. None of that. None of that. None of that. And to be honest, so what? So what? She's been walking around, we all know, and I don't even see that as a insensitive comment. Because if she was really, really upset about it, she wouldn't be walking around. She would be hiding. I'm not saying that she's not uncomfortable. There's nothing comfortable about a woman losing her hair. Nothing. But she's been owning it. And I just don't think Jada Pinkett Smith is such a sensitive, wilting violet that she could not handle being being referred after a badass character. I mean, if you're going to call me something, G.I. Jane, I'd be okay with. If I have to have my head shaved, you going to call me G.I. Jane, I would own that. I would own that. There's worse things to be called. And it has nothing to do with the fact that, I'm sorry. Black women have their heads shaved all the time, whether they have balding or not. Was it Sanaa Lathan did it for a movie? Tiffany Haddish, she did it not too long ago. Black women shaving their head ain't nothing new. I did a big chop a couple of years ago. I mean, you want to say I look like G.I. Jane? Cool. Now, if you said I look like something else, that would be probably disrespectful. If you said I look like, I don't know, cue ball, I don't know, something else, but a movie reference at a movie award from a colleague to a colleague, I'm not understanding the outrage. What I'm also not getting is why we are not holding a grown man to a higher standard that this is unacceptable behavior. Because my son, my husband, your husband can't be doing that out in the world and keep our jobs, keep our freedom, or maybe keep our life. That's the conversation to have. And this whole thing about, well, he's had enough. Well, you know what? If you've had enough, go lay on somebody's couch. You got enough money. You could see a therapist every day and get immersion therapy for like the next 6 months and work it out. There are so many people that are in jail or 6 feet under because they made a lapse in judgment. See, you're lucky that all anyone's doing is talking. There are a lot of people who they can't say anything. You just be happy that all that's happening is that you're getting some backlash as far as the blogs and the news. There are people who get killed over stuff like that. So that is my unpopular opinion. Let me know in the comments if I'm off. Take care of yourself and each other. Please take care of yourself and each other. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.